Steve and Jill here.
Hello.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Stephen Jack Butella.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, broadcasting from sunny Southern California.
Today, Jill and I talk about our $25,000 profit SFR failure.
That's so funny. It's hard to, yes, we screwed it all up, let's just say, and only made $25,000.
This is what that conversation that we had right before we hit the record button.
Yep.
This is Jill talking. How do you expect to have a successful podcast with the word failure in the title?
Yeah. Where are you going with that?
Can we just make this positive somehow?
Exactly.
What is it with you and the negative stuff?
Fail with Land Academy.
We just did a show a couple days ago. Ethics? Why do you want to talk about ethics at all? Can't we talk about
ethics and failure?
Banana splits with a cherry on top?
It's going to be like, next we're going to bring in my lawyer can be your lawyer. And let's talk taxes. Jeez, where are you coming up? And I want to go, this is, and to follow up what you told me the other day. Well, you tried coming up with 895 titles. Okay, well, I won't pick my lawyer is your lawyer.
Join us tomorrow where we talk about my first divorce.
Yeah. That would be great. It's not me. That's awesome.
Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members.
Wait. I want to back up here. Let's take up the three real quick. The three worst titles that we could cover.
All right.
Okay. One I like the same one is today we talk income tax. Let's see.
Jack's journey through foot fungus.
My kid got detention again. Let me see here. And who says being bipolar can't work for you?
Your marriage and your sexual incompatibility.
Yeah. There we go. All right, you got one more. I did three. You can do one more.
No, go ahead.
Oh.
I did a bunch.
Okay.
You just don't remember because you were thinking about your own.
No, that's bad. I did. Oh, my gosh. Okay, I think we covered it, though. I just wanted to get a few of those horrible topics out of the way that we could be talking about that we're not.
Did you ever see Fight Club, the movie?
I think I did.
You know, they take over, they squat in this house,
yeah.
And he finds all these old journals. And
I think you had me watch that.
And the guy's name was Jack, and he writes in the third person, so he's like, Jack's sense of failure. I am Jack's sense of hunger this week.
Oh.
And it goes into exactly what we're talking about, how, there's no reason that they're all sitting there in some vacant house, never published, because it's awful.
Right.
Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free, and as you're listening or watching us on YouTube, please drop your questions into the comment slot below.
Jordan asks, I'm currently in the process of closing on my first ever deal and am, of course, this is an older doing so through Title Mine. This is an older question when we had Title Mine. All right. So I have three questions. How critical is it to have title insurance for a land transaction? 2, when is it too late to buy insurance? I just want to worry about getting this thing closed now. Can I still do so after the fact? And then anyone know of a company that land investors typically go to? I'm pretty anxious to get this whole thing done. Thank you. Okay, so really we're two questions. So what was the first question? The first question was, how critical is it to have title insurance for land? For me, I think it's price. It's
price driven.
It's really price driven. Because if it's a couple $1,000 property that you're selling for a couple $1,000, it may not be a big deal. But say like we talk about infill lots, someone's going to put a house there and you're buying it for $20,000 and you're selling it for $50,000 because it's worth $80,000. Oh goodness, yes. Title insurance is a must.
There's two. Yeah, Jill's exactly right. There's two tests for do I need title insurance? You ask yourself these two questions. Number one, is the purchase price more than $5,000? And if that's the case, if it is, you generally want to get title insurance. Below that, it doesn't make sense. Number two, will this property ever be built on or lent against?
Right.
Then the answer is yes. It's as simple as that. More and more these days, like we don't close anything now without title insurance, with very, very few exceptions.
Those are bigger deals, and
Right.
that's why. When's it too late to buy title insurance?
Never.
Yeah, you can go back, and that's, I understand that too. Hurry up, sometimes you want to hurry up and get the deal done, and then you could have title insurance added and done later on. So that's maybe not be the most cost-effective way / however, but it can be done.
Jill and I have done deals, I'll tell you, and this might seem ironic to a more seasoned real estate investor, but if we get a great property in, we'll close it right there. We'll do a close without title insurance, and then, because it's so good, we're so profitable, we'll, a week after that, we'll ask the seller to stick around and get title insurance, and we'll do the whole thing.
Right. But we got them their money, so they're
Right.
all excited, and it's ours.
And here's why we have the confidence to do that, because a lot of people are listening to this saying, well, that defeats the whole purpose, because the title agent, who's an unrelated third party, has got to check out to make sure all this stuff is okay. We've been doing this so long that we are basically our own title plant, and we can
Right.
see who owns it and what's happening, if there's liens against it. Inside of 5 minutes, we can basically do our own title stuff.
Right.
So, but you're new, do it the right way.
Right. And having that title insurance policy on a more expensive property is nothing more than an unrelated third party signing off that the deal's kosher. We all know it's kosher, but the banks, why they're so special, that's a whole nother podcast. But the bank wants to see an official title policy run through somebody, well known, and that makes them feel better, and I understand. So that's why.
Right. Today's topic, our $25,000 Profit SFR failure. This is the meat of the show. Yes, we just failed at buying and selling a piece of real estate, actually a house in an urban area, and we only made $25,000. And the whole point of the show is not to talk about failure like we joked about in the beginning. My point to it is, let's just say, because right now we buy about 4 houses a month. It ends up being about 50 deals a year in one market, just in one market, and we're still testing it before we nationally expand. Let's say they all fail, and we only make $25,000 per deal. That's $100,000 a month. It's $1.2 million gross a year failing at buying and selling houses. Think about that for a second. I think we fail when we only make $100,000 a month buying and selling real estate. What should we make? Between $40,000 and $80,000 per wholesale deal.
Right.
In California, we should be making closer to $150,000.
Right.
So, that old tagline, you already know fortunes can be made in real estate.
Right.
We're doing it. And every once in a while, I miscalculate. This property had some parcel split related issues that I could not foresee. And because the way I price things and how we do business, we had like stop gaps and losses all over the place to make sure these, mechanisms in place to make sure we don't actually lose any money.
Right.
We just don't maximize how much money we make.
Right.
That's what this is all about. And so this property specifically, we thought we were going to split the parcel up into several into 4 lots actually.
Right.
And it ended up, and we, to our credit, I'm going to pat myself on the back, we priced it as if something could go wrong if we just had to resell it.
Right.
Just mark it up and resell it existing, we would be okay.
Exactly.
And that's what ended up happening.
And then we did. And that's the way you want to do it. You want to have a plan here and a plan here. And we could have still pushed it, but we got to the point where honestly it was taking up too much of our time.
Yeah, too much of Jill's
time. And we are still training our team, and it was like, all right, how much more do we want to hang on to this property to make that much? You have to have that conversation with yourself. I could hang on to it for another 30 days and make an extra X. Is my time worth that? And then it got to the point where, nope, it's actually not.
It's always a bird in the hand. That old
Yeah.
saying, a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush, and
Right.
that's what this ended up being.
Exactly.
Because we have so many deals coming in. That's the whole
Flip it
key.
and move on.
We're in the driver's seat on every single one of these, because if somebody looks at you sideways in one of these deals, we can just say, you know what?
Never
I'm going
mind.
to open the next offer on a stack of offers that I get every day. And I don't need it.
I'll buy that one.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's so true. I'm trying to think what else I want to share about this particular deal. Do you have anything you want to think about this deal?
It's a great property.
It is.
The property itself is fantastic.
Exactly.
It's a huge house. Mm-hmm. It's a whole block.
It's like singles. What this is we chose on this one to hit a single. And at the end of the day, that is the safest way. And we made $25,000. We probably could have even pushed it for more, but again, hit that single, get out. It's because you know how to do it. Buy it right. You bought it. We haven't even owned it, weeks. And
weeks.
The minute we close, there was equity there because of the way we bought it. That's the best way. That's the whole strategy and plan, and that we never mess up.
We had a plan A, plan B, and plan C. I always do in every deal. Plan A was split it into 4 properties and sell off the dirt because it's way more than what we paid.
Right.
And that was possible. We would have to wait a year. Okay, not willing to do that. Plan B. Cut it in half and wait about, 90 days realistically from start to finish, get the separate APN. Now you got 2 real estate deals instead of 1.
Right.
You have a house on 1 property, which you will make back your purchase price on, and then this other pile of dirt, which ends up being all the profit.
Right.
And we should make about $85,000 that way.
Right.
Or next week, you can make $25,000 just selling the whole thing as is.
Walk away.
Bird in the hand.
Thank you.
And that's what we did.
Exactly.
And it would have been a little bit harder to make that decision if we didn't have 4 other deals going on right now where we're going to net between 40 to 80, and then one of them just came in $140,000.
That's what happens.
So when you average it out, did we lose $25,000, or did we actually average the best one that month, average the worst one that month? It's closer to $50,000 per deal.
Exactly. It's going to work out just fine.
Well, you've done it again. You spent another 15 minutes or so listening or watching the Land Academy show. Join us next time where we cover another interesting real estate acquisition topic.
And we answer your questions posted on our online community, landinvestors.com. It's free.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
That's good. It's good to
Fun
share.
it's fun to talk about making money.
It is. Even this is. I feel like this often comes up on our weekly member calls. They're like, "Oh, I screwed it all up. I only made X amount." We're like, "Come on."
Yeah.
Any sentence that starts with "I only made X," you already won.
The other thing that we did that we probably should have shared in the main show is that what you and I really agreed on, probably, hopefully, finally forever, is that improving property should not be in our thought process ever again.
Exactly.
What we're good at.
We got emotional.
Yeah. Well, we looked at it too hard.
Yes, we did.
Still
never saw it, but
I'm going to buy it for $100,000 right now and sell it for $125,000 tomorrow, and that's it.
There we go.
And don't see something that's not there. All this advice I constantly give, I went against on that deal. Personally, went against it. Exactly. I don't know why.
Thank you. Share the fun by hitting the subscribe button if you are watching us on YouTube, and that way you will stay up to date on our podcasts and make sure you're in all the loop on our channel. Like us and please comment on what you would like to see in future shows. If you're listening on iTunes, please rate us there.
We are Steve and Jill. Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.